Okay, got it. It should be. It would be nice if it was a touch screen.
All right. All right. We are. Okay, we are here once again, Monday with the Green Neighborhood Initiative. This is your host, Eric, the Green Guy in River West Neighborhood, coming to you live from River West Radio. We're going to talk about some good ideas that are convenient and cost effective to make your home and our neighborhood green and more in harmony with nature.
And in this manner, by making green ecologic choices, we economically support those social initiatives that we believe in and want to sustainably support for social climate change. And thus is the inspiration for the Green Neighborhood Initiative to support social climate change by providing green, sustainable fundraising choices for our planet and people.
One of our recommendations for having a greener home and lifestyle is a good book to read by Sloan Barnett called Green Goes with Everything. And it has simple steps to a healthier life and a cleaner planet. Also, you want to check out the latest edition of USA Today Green Living. Has 15 easy life fixes and cheap green recommendations. In there, you can read about your dream green home, do-it-yourself fixes, and chemical-free cleaning. Then there is the Green Consumer by John Elkington, Julia Hales, and Joel Mackauer, where you can buy products that don't cost the earth. One of the things to consider with respect to the Green Consumer is your garbage. You could just consider, what you throw away and what it does to the environment, where it goes. One study estimated that paper and paperboard products or refuse make up 41% of what we throw away. Yard waste is about 17.9%. Metals such as aluminum, tin, make up about 8.7%. Food waste is about 7.9%. Plastic, 6.5%. Much of what we throw away can be recycled, and there are opportunities for our recyclables to either generate cash for our household budget or to be used as a fundraiser for your local school or parent-teacher association or for your place of religious practice, church, synagogue, mosque. Once again, this program is dedicated to the one I love, Aminetta, the mighty one, my best friend. One of these days, we're going to do a show together, Amin. One of the ways to help save the environment and get around is to, excuse me, swapping the car for a bike every now and then can trim your waistline and save you a few dollars. But guess how much money a biking could save if lots of people did it? A study by the University of Wisconsin-Madison estimates that if everyone replaced half their short car rides with bike rides during the 6 warmest months, Americans could save $3.8 billion a year. The savings would come in form of avoided deaths and lower healthcare costs for conditions like obesity and heart disease. The future is green. Tomorrow's jobs zero in on energy and the environment. Many Americans are turning to green collar jobs because of the growth potential. Others appreciate the opportunity to improve the environment through their work, whether they're starting out or finishing up their career. But what is a green job exactly? How does a person get one? The core of the green job movement lies in the sustainable energy field. Key factors include energy efficiency, renewable energy, natural resources conservation, green construction, environmental remediation, and sustainable agriculture, according to William Doe, Chief Executive Officer of Veteran Green Jobs, a Denver-based nonprofit. A broader look at the economy reveals a much greater number of green positions. An accountant working for a wind power company or a lawyer advocating for sustainable development could be said to have a green job, for instance. If you're interested in making a green collar career, consider this expert advice. The first step in landing a green job, regardless of your age and experience level, is to do research to understand environmentally oriented industries and where the job opportunities are. Says Carol McClellan, author of Green Careers for Dummies. It's a big universe, says McClellan. It starts with coming up with a clear statement of your focus, finding that niche that's going to be a good focus for your passion and your background. The Brookings Institute estimated that 2.7 million people worked in the green labor market in 2011. By contrast, the American Solar Energy Society reported 9 million green jobs in 2007. The group estimated the field could grow to 37 million by 2030. Perhaps you're winding down your career with a part-time job related to the environment. You can find opportunities by searching your network of colleagues and friends. Green jobs are the ones, green jobs are the top 5 fields for individuals older than 50 who are looking to switch careers, according to Encore Careers, a project of think tank Civic Ventures. The group lists weatherization installers, weatherization crew leaders, energy auditors, solar contractors, solar installation trainers, advocates, consultants, and outreach workers as top positions. A good book to consider would be The Residential Energy by Krieger and Dorsey. Residential energy talks about cost savings and comfort for existing buildings. You want to consider wise energy use. We know that our standard of living can endure with less energy, less money, less environmental damage. For example, the year 2000 per capita energy consumption is about the same as it was in 1973, while per capita economic output has increased over 70% since 1973. Our increasing energy consumption has instead followed the increasing population and increasing number of households. From 1976 to 1986, home energy efficiency increased at an impressive rate, following the energy price hikes of the mid-1970s. Cultures around the world have used energy conservation principles and passive solar technology for centuries. For instance, some Native American communities maximize winter heating by orienting their dwellings in villages to the south, while Middle East natives used wind chimneys, whitewashed walls and roofs, and window shading for cooling. Before the Industrial Revolution, residential heat was provided by wood fire. Artificial light was provided by candles and oil or gas lamps. A little over 100 years ago, things began to change rapidly. In the early 1880s, Thomas Edison invented the incandescent light and built the world's first power station. By 1908, 8% of Americans' homes had electricity. By 1925, 53% of homes were connected to the country's expanding electrical grid. By the 1930s, natural gas began to compete with wood and coal as a heating fuel. Today, natural gas provides over 50% of the energy used in residential buildings. Over the past 50 years, Americans have embraced air conditioning, replacing earlier attempts at low energy cooling. Evaporative coolers appeared in the 1920s and window air conditioners in the 1940s. Central air conditioning followed in the 1950s. Today, around 70% of existing homes and 80% of new homes have air conditioning. Televisions, stereos, computers, swimming pools, spas, and all types of electric gadgets make American homes the most energy consumptive in the world. The United States represents about 5% of the world's population, yet it consumes 25% of the world's energy supplies. Energy is a principal commodity in our society, amounting to about 9% of the U.S. gross national product. We should consider that the benefits we receive from this consumption are counterbalanced by environmental damage. With the exception of some renewable resources, energy consumption is inevitably produces harmful byproducts such as carbon dioxide, acid rain, and radioactive waste. Carbon dioxide is the most important cause of global warming, which is now an international problem and urgent priority. Most scientists now agree that our unbridled energy use is warming the atmosphere through a process called the greenhouse effect. Gases like carbon dioxide that contribute to the greenhouse effect are called greenhouse gases. Recent climate changes, increasing forest fires, record high temperatures, and other weather events confirm that the Earth is indeed warming. Unfortunately, U.S. greenhouse gas production increased by 16% between 1990 and 2000. Energy consumption also produces undesirable economic side effects. The U.S. imported 55% of the oil it used in 2001, making oil our largest import. Importing oil creates about 25% of our annual balance of trade deficit of over $60 billion per year. Our foreign oil dependence that dominates our foreign policy has precipitated expensive military intervention. Energy conservation can help reduce this reliance on fossil fuels. Fossil energy is solar energy stored in ancient plants and animal remains. Fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas are very convenient to use and account for over 95% of energy used in homes. Supplies of fossil energy are limited and non-renewable. Fossil fuels produce carbon dioxide, the main cause of global warming, and other air pollutants, which are a major worldwide cause of respiratory disease, environmental sensitivities, and neurological disorders. Nuclear electricity harnesses energy by releasing the splitting of atoms and releases no carbon dioxide. At one time, experts predicted that nuclear electricity would become the world's cleanest and cheapest energy source, a prediction that has not yet materialized. Nuclear electricity is expensive, requiring large government subsidies. The nuclear industry radioactive waste disposal process is a grave environmental, economic, socio-economic, and political problem. Renewable energy is the same as solar energy and includes wind power, direct solar energy, and biomass energy. As fossil fuel supplies dwindle, renewable energy is becoming more widely used. The advantages of renewable energy are safety, environmental quality, and sustainability. Energy efficiency and energy conservation must bridge the gap between the present fossil fuel era and the future renewable energy era. If high standards of residential comfort and convenience are to endure, energy efficiency and energy conservation must precede and support the implementation of renewable energy systems. Understanding home energy usage. There is much that we can do in our home within our reach to reduce our energy consumption. The simplest, most immediate thing we can do would be to convert our incandescent light bulbs to compact fluorescent light bulbs. And there are ways in doing so that not only will save you money, save the environment, you can do it as a fundraiser for your church or your school or your other nonprofit community service organization. As you swap out your electronics, be it your entertainment electronics, TV, stereo, personal computer, or electronic appliances such as your refrigerator, washer, dryer, stove, hot water heater, you can do so using Energy Star high efficiency appliances to replace those that you are getting rid of. And when you do so, you can do it in a way where, again, you can deposit those old appliances and electronics in such a way where they can be recycled, and the cash value of those recycled materials can be donated to a nonprofit community service organization here in River West. With respect to your water usage, you can, if you can afford to, if it's in your household budget, you can replace your conventional toilet with a high efficiency toilet. But most people do not have that in their budget. So the simple thing to do would, first of all, by placing a tablet, a food coloring tablet in the tank of your toilet, wait about 30 to 60 seconds and see if there's any coloring in the toilet bowl. If there is, then you know you have a leak. If there isn't, then you know that it's all good. And then the next step to improve your water consumption efficiency would just to place a plastic bottle filled with rocks or pebbles or marbles in the bottom of it. Fill it up with water, put the cap on top, place that in the toilet tank, and then every time you flush, that's how much water you're saving per flush. So if the plastic bottle was a 1 liter, every time you flush, you're saving 1 liter of water. If it's 2 liter bottle, every time you flush, you're saving 2 liters. And then that places less demand upon our Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewer District, less energy that they're going to be requiring to process and redistribute the water. And bear in mind that all the water that we have on the planet is all the water that we have ever had, and it's all the water that we're ever going to get. We're not getting any more water on planet Earth. What we have is what we get, what we've got, rather. So those are some very basic, simple things that we can do in our home that are either no cost or low cost. And then swapping out our old appliances and electronics, we can donate them in such a way where the cash value can go towards your parent-teacher association or your church, synagogue, or mosque, or other nonprofit community service organization. The Department of Energy's Energy Information Administration, EIA, again, that's the Department of Energy's Energy Information Administration, reports energy consumption in dollars, millions of BTUs, that's British thermal units, or quads. A quad is 1 quadrillion British thermal units of energy, the equivalent of 40 million tons of coal or 182 million barrels of fuel oil. The EIA recognizes 3 distinct housing types: single-family, multifamily, and mobile homes among the approximately 105 million American households. Householders in the U.S. spent about $150 billion for 20 quads of energy in 2000. Remember, a quad is 1 quadrillion British thermal units of energy, the equivalent of 40 million tons of coal or 182 million barrels of fuel oil. And the EIA found that the U.S. householders spent about 20 quads. So it would be 20 times 182 million barrels of oil, or 20 times 40 million tons of coal in the year 2000. By 2007, consumption rose to 22 quads, a 10% increase. Of this total energy in quads, 65% is electricity, 26% is natural gas, 7% is oil and propane, and remaining 2% is renewable energy. Again, the first and easiest thing to do to reduce this trend is to address our consumption of electricity. And what uses the most electricity in our homes is going to be lighting and then appliances. For example, your refrigerator is always on. So if you have an old refrigerator, when you replace it, make sure it's an Energy Star refrigerator. You can set the freezer temperature and the refrigerator temperature at the medium or low level. And then if you have a refrigerator which has exposed coils in the back, what you can do is take a pipe cleaner and clean off the dust and spider webs on the back of your refrigerator, and that will help the refrigerator run more efficiently. It won't have to work as hard to dissipate the heat. It's taken from inside and dissipating into the kitchen through those coils. So if your coils on your refrigerator are dust and spider web covered, you want to clean those off with a pipe cleaner thoroughly well, and that will increase the efficiency in the running of your refrigerator. Electricity is typically higher in cost and reflects the fact that its generation and transmission is only about 30% efficient. On the other hand, electricity is typically around 100% efficient at the point of use when it's converted into heat for home or water heating. Natural gas, oil, and propane are only 40 to 90% efficient at heating a home or hot water. But the fossil fuels are cheaper than electricity because they don't experience the generation and transmission losses. This makes direct comparison of homes heated by fossil fuels and electricity tricky. Electricity heated homes may use less energy on site, but the energy costs more. The EIA resolves this problem by using dollars as a unit for energy consumed, and their dollar-based statistics include both fossil fuels and electricity. There are basically two major approaches to the wise use of energy in the future. Energy efficiency and energy conservation. Although very similar, they aren't exactly the same. Energy efficiency is the more popular approach and focuses on maximizing the economic benefits of wise energy use. Energy efficiency often results in energy savings, as when you buy a new Energy Star qualified refrigerator to replace your inefficient one. Energy conservation approach focuses more narrowly on reducing non-renewable energy use and its resulting environmental damage. Proponents of this approach are more willing to ask consumers for changes in behavior than an energy efficient approach. A quad of electricity costs more than a quad of natural gas because 70% of the fuel energy used to make electricity is lost in the generation and transmission process. For many American policymakers believe efficiency is a more positive word than conservation. Nevertheless, North Americans are using energy at an unsustainable rate. We must now reduce energy consumption to preserve our prosperity, security, and environment. Energy efficiency is a term that describes our efforts to use energy more efficiently. Energy conservation means reducing energy consumption by eliminating energy waste. Energy efficiency and energy conservation provide the following benefits. Efficiency of use. Efficient homes maximize comfort, service, and value for each unit of energy. Energy security is wasting less energy makes individuals and communities less dependent on energy and less vulnerable to price and supply fluctuations. Environmental restoration. Wasting less energy creates less environmental damage. Sustainable prosperity. Wasting less energy preserves fossil fuels for future generations and allows for diversity of energy generation options. The lack of insulation and inefficient heating and cooling systems, amongst other problems, drives typical residential buildings to 1.5 to 2 times as much energy as necessary to achieve comfort and convenience. This excess energy use costs about $45 billion annually. The Department of Energy's Weatherization Assistance Program typically saves 10 to 30% of total household energy consumption, according to nationwide studies. Residential energy conservation programs use 4 main strategies to achieve energy savings in residential buildings. 1. Making thermal improvements to building shells. 2. Replacing older heating systems, cooling systems, lighting, and other energy-using devices with new and efficient equipment. 3. Repairing or adjusting existing energy-using equipment. 4. Educating building occupants about energy-efficient practices. In hot climates like what we have in Milwaukee today and for the past several days, home energy consumption is broken down between space cooling, space heating, appliances and lights, water heating, and refrigeration. Refrigeration, or the refrigerator, takes up about 10% of the household energy consumption. And then water heating, rather appliances and lights, is about 18%. Then water heating is 23%, followed by space cooling. The energy professionals' most important challenge is to find the sources and causes of residential energy waste. These vary depending upon climatic conditions, building characteristics, and building operating procedures. For example, heating energy waste may dominate Minnesota's single-family homes, while waste from cooling, water heating, and lighting may be the dominant problem in Texas high-rise residential buildings. Inefficiency can be divided into the following general categories: heating. Seasonal efficiencies for fossil fuel heating systems range from 30 to 90%. Most older systems operate at the mid to lower end of this scale. Heat losses, air leakage, water heating, cooling, heat gains, distribution system, appliances, and residential behavior. It's good to consider having a home retrofitted. Most government and utility programs require a retrofit to repay its initial investment within 10 years. If a retrofit achieves this or some other standard, we say it's cost effective. The cost effectiveness of energy efficient retrofits for residences depends on the following factors: fuel usage, fuel costs, climate, retrofit selection, materials cost and quality, labor efficiency. And the priorities for energy efficiency include comprehensive evaluations of utility energy conservation programs yielding surprising results. Some of the most important findings are listed below. Leaky ducts can be a major source of energy waste, both by leaking conditioned air and by creating pressures that increase air leakage through the building shell. And energy audit's purpose. Energy auditors visit residential buildings and talk to owners and residents. They inspect, test, and measure to decide what energy efficient retrofits are practical and cost effective. Specific purposes of energy audits are to identify the type, size, and condition and rate of energy consumption for each major energy using device. Recommend appropriate energy conservation operations and maintenance procedures. Estimate labor and material costs for energy retrofits. Project savings expected from energy retrofits. Note current and potential health and safety problems and how they may be affected by proposed changes. Explain behavioral changes that will reduce energy waste and provide a written record of decision making. Computerized energy audits help set retrofit priorities by rating the cost effectiveness of each retrofit as well as analyzing the entire building retrofit proposal. One should also consider that a quality assurance inspection is required. An energy audit is not over once the priorities have been determined and retrofitting is authorized. Dollar savings and longevity of energy conservation measures are heavily dependent upon proper installation. Inspecting every job helps ensure that insulation, air sealing, space conditioning, and base load retrofits are done properly. Quality assurance inspection of an energy audit and weatherization program involves verifying compliance with specifications and job order, providing feedback on performance of workers, both good and bad, establishing procedures for correcting mistakes, emphasizing the importance of maintenance procedures and conservation practices to residents. Essentially, the major goals of an energy specialist work are to conserve energy, increase energy efficiency, and save money. Protect the environment by reducing harmful energy byproducts. Increase comfort in residential buildings. Enhance health and safety of the building's residents. Increase public awareness of energy-saving products and procedures. To accomplish this mission, energy auditors and technicians must understand basic energy principles. Once understood in theory, these principles can be better applied in practice. Recognize all of a building's important energy saving opportunities and choose the most promising. One of the most important things that an energy professional can do is educate their building's residents about how they can use energy more efficiently and save money. Okay, we're going to change channels right now, and we were sharing some material from the book Residential Energy Cost Savings and Comfort for Existing Buildings by John Krieger and Chris Dorsey. We're going to flip to The Green Consumer, which is an excellent book. John Elkington and Julia Hales and Joel McHour. Every time you shop for toothpaste or toilet paper, cars or cleaners, batteries or baby food, you make choices that affect the environment. With this brand-specific handbook, the book talks about a variety of products that we use all the time, which affects our environment. Let's say that you are a family of 4 living in a freshly painted home in a good neighborhood in a nice, clean city. Your lawn is mowed and your car is washed and waxed. The kids put away their toys. You keep things neat as a pin and never litter. Would you believe that your tidy little family is still contributing its share of hazardous waste down the drain and into our air and water? Let's look at some of those cleaners you're using to keep things looking so good. That oven cleaner you're using most likely contains a variety of toxic and corrosive ingredients, including potassium and sodium hydroxide and ammonia. The furniture polish you're using probably contains toxic and flammable ingredients such as diethylene glycol and nitrobenzene. Your rug and upholstery cleaners contain such corrosive poisons as oxalic acid, and the list goes on. From drain cleaners to disinfectants, furniture polishes to fungicides, most of us use these products without question. Their colorful packages and catchy advertising slogans lull us into a false sense of security. You should be aware that the word
Oh wait, no, 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
You should be aware that the word non-toxic means nothing under federal law. It is simply an advertising slogan like natural, and yet we use most of these products as if they were harmless as tap water. Here are some of the growing number of words and terms used on product labels to indicate their benefits to the environment. But what does each mean? The truth is, none of these mean much. All are vague terms that have no agreed upon or legal definition. You should be wary of these phrases unless you understand exactly what aspects of a product they refer to. Non-toxic. The term is intended to indicate that the product will not have any harmful effects on humans. There is no legal definition of it. What happens when you dispose of the product? Will its contents or packaging be harmful, even toxic to the environment? It is difficult to know based solely on this claim. Biodegradable. Well, everything will biodegrade eventually, even if it takes several thousand years. Again, there is no law mandating what this term is supposed to mean. Natural. This is one of the most abused terms in marketing. There are many so-called natural ingredients, lead for example, that are extremely poisonous. Organic. Although there are some standards for using this term, there is no legal requirement to meet them to make this claim. All living matter and many hazardous chemicals can be said to be organic. It is best to look for a certifying seal from an established organization. Environmental friendly, environmentally safe, won't harm the environment, safe for the ozone, etc., etc. These may be well-meaning phrases, but they are also meaningless. Does the claim have to do with the product's contents, its packaging, or both? Almost any product has some impact on the environment in terms of the resources used to manufacture, package, use, dispose, and transport it. Be wary of such ideal-sounding but vague terms. I really like this book. The Green Consumer is a really good book. Let's talk about how to identify recycled products. Okay. Recycled packaging can be identified in 3 ways. The recycling symbol on the package, where it's triangular shaped and it has arrows, 3 arrows chasing the tail of the other. Or may simply have a statement saying this package made from recycled products. A gray interior and paperboard boxes such as those used for cereals, detergents, and cake mixes indicate that the paper product is from recycled sources. A white interior usually indicates that the package is made from virgin materials. However, a box with a white interior may still be made from recycled material. To check, tear a corner of the package. If you see gray, it's made from recycled paper. The art of pre-cycling. Pre-cycling means making intelligent, environmentally sound decisions at the store and reducing waste before you buy. In other words, by pre-cycling, you will reduce waste by avoiding buying those things that will need to be disposed of or recycled. In 1989, the city of Berkeley, California, launched an innovative citywide pre-cycling campaign, complete with posters, brochures, and newspaper ads. Other communities and organizations have examined this relatively simple notion, which is known more formally as source reduction. By whatever name and whatever form, the idea makes good environmental sense. What's recyclable? Oh, I can see what. Check the time. Okay, we got about 5 more minutes. What is recycled? What is recyclable? Not everything we buy can be recycled, but most things can. A study conducted on Long Island by the Center for the Biology of Natural Systems found that 84% of household waste, including food, yard waste, paper bottles, and cans, can be recycled. Of course, the exact percentage of recycled materials you throw away is directly related to how much you consider recyclability when shopping. What exactly is recyclable? Well, aluminum, you're familiar with that. Batteries. When batteries are tossed into landfills, the metals leach out of corroded batteries and seep into the groundwater. These metals are so dangerous that the Occupational Safety and Health Administration has established workplace exposure limits for all 8 metals mentioned above. And those metals include cadmium, lead, lithium, manganese, dioxide, mercury, nickel, silver, and zinc. Those metals pollute the air or become toxic components of discarded incinerator ash. Corrugated cardboard, clothing, glass, like aluminum glass, is 100% recyclable. Glass makes up about 10% of household garbage and is one of the easiest materials to recycle. Yard waste. Leaves, cut grass, and other yard waste represent about 20% of all waste that ends up in landfill. About 35 billion tons a year, yet these materials can be of beneficial use and the recycling can save money. Recycling yard waste usually takes place in the form of composting them. Composting refers to the biological decomposition of organic waste material, such as plant and food, under controlled conditions. All right, we're going to be signing off pretty soon. And once again, this program is dedicated to the one I love, the mighty Aminata, my best friend. And I'm about to sign off. This is the Green Neighborhood coming to you again from the riverwestradio.com. Have any questions, you can give us a call. And talk to you later. Thank you.